So I've noticed lately several people who we follow on Twitter have taken a break. They'll take like say they're going to take like a month-long break to get away from the toxicity of the medium. And it got me thinking. There's several people who get bitter when you comment, and this always struck me as strange. I know for me, and I think for you as well, we're kind of sarcastic asses, and that doesn't really translate in print. If you're talking to someone one on one, they can see your facial expressions. They can kind of follow, what you're doing. That there's a smile on your face. That you're just joshing. You're just trying to get a reaction. You're trying to start a conversation. But obviously, whether it be a text message or Twitter, that doesn't come across. It's just dry, cold, seems like mean spirited.
Sure. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Twitter's a funny thing. And you and I have talked that we don't really care how people talk on there. That's not the deal. It's just, man, people get really offended really quickly, and it's an odd medium, that's for sure.
I sometimes I feel bad for them sometimes because they take offense, which I'm going to assume that 8 times out of 10, no offense was meant.
Right.
That more than likely, the other person was just trying to get a rise and trying to promote adversarial conversation, just get an argument going without any ill intent,
Yeah.
just trying to get a
Right.
conversation started. So those people who get offended or feel like it's a troll, I just don't know that that's the case.
Yeah.
And especially when you're commenting on, say, a blue check. Those blue check people, they don't pay attention to us.
Right. As they
You know,
shouldn't, anyway.
to us little folk. So it seems like a lot of people try to be more controversial just to try to get a response from someone who has some credibility on Twitter, if you
Yeah.
will.
Yeah. So that happens all the times, that they're trying to elicit a response uh, to get these guys going. And I wonder if we were the big blue check kind of people, would we speak back? But I think we would, just because that's in our nature.
Yeah, dude. I mean, if someone's coming at me, whether mean spirited or not, I don't care. If someone's coming at me, I'm going to come back until I lose interest. So as long as you're interesting to me,
Yeah,
as long as you keep making good points or whatever, I'm in. I'm in. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been on there in the first place. And
sure.
I've had some of these little Twitter fights. By the way, so we both share the same account. You can tell if it's a little bit more mean spirited, it's me. A little bit more glass half full, it's Orion. But I'm just looking for a rise. I'm just, that's all. It's never mean spirited ever. I don't know you, you don't know me. So I'm just really just trying to poke the bear and try and promote a conversation. But I've had a few times where, a couple times where guys they're into it for a while. They're into it for a while. And then, I can tell where either now they're getting pissed off or they lose interest, which is cool. I mean, that's all I'm looking for, because otherwise, I don't care about the medium at all. I just don't care. But I always like a good conversation. I
Yeah,
always do.
yeah. And I mean, I think that's all it's for, right? Is
Let's hope so, because if you're getting information or whatever from Twitter, you're looking in the wrong places. It's like getting all your news from Facebook. I mean, you're making a mistake here. So to me, it's just conversations that you wouldn't normally get to have from people all around the world. You can dictate your interests, so there should be very similar interests. I think that's cool. That's a cool aspect to it. But when you start taking it personally, man, then it's not for you probably.
Well, so again, it's barroom talk or bar talk and barbershop talk. That's what Twitter's for, right? I mean, that's the
I
whole
think,
purpose.
in my mind, otherwise, I know a lot of the sports teams use it to announce their signings, their cuts, their whatever. They use that. Now it's becoming an important medium for that. But it's not, to me, it's just about a conversation. It's about linking the world in real time. And I think that's cool about it. But my point in bringing this topic up was just I feel sorry for those who take it too seriously and who get offended. And my advice to those people, don't, because you don't know how the person who trolled you is coming at you. It's probably tongue in cheek. It's probably with a smile. It might be just to get a rise, but I guarantee it's probably not all that mean spirited.
Yeah, I would say mostly it's not that. It's not mean spirited, but they are trying to get something out of you. And when you do that, hey, give it back. It's all right. Even as a celebrity, give it back. Give it back. That's fine.
I know for a fact that some of these people, this has been happening lately, it seems, coming after Mina Kimes. I almost guarantee you, they don't even believe what they're saying. They're just trying to get a rise on the blue checks and trying to get response. Look at me kind of thing. Because some of them are the comments are so ridiculous. Like you can't honestly believe that. You can't be a functioning adult and honestly believe that. You're really just trying to get a little bit of attention, I would assume.
Yeah, and there's always this people talking about keyboard warriors and stuff like that, which that does exist. I'm not saying that it doesn't, but I think for the most part, they're like, okay, we're one of, I don't know, 3,000 that commented on your thing. And okay, we need to stand out somehow.
Yeah. Right.
And
Let's
get a little crazy. Let's get a little crazy over here. Right.
Yeah, I think that's what. I think it's the same thing when YouTube got rid of the dislike.
Yeah.
I think YouTube's reasoning was to spare the feelings of us content people, which I think is stupid. Because if we're that thin skinned, man, again, this is the wrong medium. I mean, by the way, we still see it on the back end. If you hit dislike, we still see it.
You see how many people disliked it, which
so go ahead
obviously we've seen, but
yeah. So go ahead and hit it, but
yeah,
unfortunately, the rest of the world doesn't get to see it, just that creator. But again, if you're so thin skinned as you don't want that posted up there, this is not the medium for you either. I mean, you kind of bury
if you're putting yourself out there like that anyway, you shouldn't be that thin skinned. And you got to understand that no matter what, we could be the best people ever. And
could be really.
Yeah, it could be.
It's not like
but 30% of the people are not going to like us. Right. That's just what happens. So it's not a big deal. Not everybody likes you. So if you're that thin skin, don't put your content out there.
Right. Yeah, I think it goes across all social media. Obviously we're in a time in history where people overshare. Well, stop oversharing, but decide if you're going to get on these mediums, then realize that it's out there for everyone.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people who want to say something about it. Just don't be so sensitive, or like a lot of these people, as I mentioned at the top, get off of it for a while. See if you can do without. And I'm guessing you can do without it for a while.
Sure. Yeah. Not suggesting to do that, obviously.
No, but I know a couple who've actually, one guy, I won't mention him, but Said he was going to take a break for a month, and mostly he did. Although he jumped back on Super Bowl the night before Super Bowl
Oh,
because just had to share. Look, I mean, if you need that time off, take that time off and do you. But at the same time, this guy was also on it all the time. I don't get on Twitter that much. I might jump on maybe twice a day, just see what's happening, see if anything interesting's been posted. Every time, no matter what time of day or night that I got on, this guy was on. That's too much.
yeah,
That's too much,
yeah.
Everything in moderation, my man.
Yeah,
Everything in
right. Well, yeah, like anything. So no, I mean it does get a lot. So
Don't let it consume your life. Don't let it dictate who you are, how you feel about yourself or anybody else. I mean, don't let it do that. Use it for what it is. Use it as a communication means to maybe start a little Twitter fight about should Carson Wentz be the Colts
well,
quarterback.
I think we use it differently because we're just shooting the shit. Because sometimes, I mean, typically that's what we like to do. Just chop it up with everybody. But
Yeah.
just to see different ideas, because I think the baseline is we really like to see different ideas, see what's going on, why you think this, and or what are you thinking? Why do you think like that? And just go from there. So I think that's a beautiful tool for that aspect.
Yeah.
But
Sports, we're mostly talking about sports.
yeah,
So, okay.
typically, well, obviously, but politically, because we have ideas about that, but we
Yeah, but
don't go. We don't delve into those kind of scenarios that often. But we have ideas, obviously.
Yeah.
We're people.
Not on Twitter, certainly, because again, it's too limiting a medium. But if you feel you got to share that, go for it. But
Yeah, sure.
don't be hurt when there's a little disagreement out there. So
Yeah, right. So I mean, that's what I'm talking about. The dissidence of religion or anything like that. We don't dive that far into that kind of thing.
no.
Not that we don't have ideas, but
Although I will say this about religion, all that stuff. Um, to me, Twitter is like signs on a wall that you put in your house. I don't like them telling me how to feel. Like, don't tell me smile or kiss me goodnight every night or what. I don't want signs telling me what to do, and I don't want Twitter telling me how to feel. So please,
true.
If you're that positive person, I guess you probably have those signs in your house. That's cool, but know that I disagree.
Right.
I typically, well, I won't, I'm not going to come down on you for it, but I just scroll right past and know that a lot of America like me is just scrolling right past. So if you're trying to, then there's those who'll hit like, just say, okay, I participated, I'm a good person.
Yeah, right.
So, whatever, man,
I put
whatever.
my dollar in the collection plate. All right.
Rather have a fight. All right. So yeah, I think bottom line is use it for what it's for. Know what it's for. It is not your life. Okay, this is not your life. The people whose life it is for is all that advertisement crap that fills most of it. It's their life. Okay, this is a money making thing,
True.
and also it gives you a means to try and communicate.
Right. So a lot of these social platforms are okay, that's what they are. They're social platforms. So you're trying to communicate, right?
Right.
But I think it's a Twitter specifically is a good way to kind of gauge what you can kind of feel the temperature of the room of like the halftime show or stuff like that. So you kind of feel the temperature of what's going on with people, and it is a good way to feel that, but it's not all encompassing.
I mean, you bring up a topic that we're going to talk about next, but that's a time for another thing. Yeah. But yeah, so, just don't get your self-worth from any social media app. Realize it's just a money-making venture. And that's all it is. So
Right,
use
right.
it if you want to, but do not be hurt by it.
True. And but again, I do think it's a good avenue to
Yeah.
kind of, if you want to reach out and talk to, because literally every American,
Yeah, all across the world.
you can kind of feel how.
Not every American. There's some that are excluded. Donald Trump comes to mind, but there's some who are excluded. But you're talking to most Americans.
Well, oh yeah, yeah. Well, and I mean, it's you're kind of you get a sense of how people feel.
Yeah.
I would say,
Sure.
especially put something on race.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I think we're done here, man.
Twitter, do it or don't.
Yeah. Or don't.